Uh-huh.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
I'm good, Jim.
Hello! Welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. Presented by Primary Arms. Hey, Jim, Spudman said, yeah, the ones you're giving away, they've been once fired. So there you go. So how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. Doing good.
Yay. Nick?
Bank council empty after this weekend, but other than that, pretty good.
What'd you buy?
I got a 2014 produced Criterion 1903 A3 barrel for a steal.
Yeah, you did.
Of
like
$25.
It's like
So, but I also got off of Midway USA was running. I think they're still running it currently. Quite a few RCBS products for a really good deal. I picked up a Primer Pocket Swager for I think it was like $60 shipped. The RCBS one, so I think it was like a savings of like $80 or something like that. So, but hopefully that'll be here tomorrow. Is the goal? Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow, according to shipping. So
nice.
But other than that, I had to work at the gun store this weekend, and we just got moved into the new buildings, and FFL still in limbo, so we weren't able to sell any guns. But other than that, had a good weekend. Yeah, it's called procrastination on management's part.
Oops.
Oh.
Jim, what you been up to?
Not a heck of a lot.
I hear Marissa's on the phone.
Yeah. She's on the other phone. We have 3 lines in this house.
That's 2 lines too many.
You get that right. Good evening, Mr. Loud. I heard you're giving away primers tonight. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm giving away primers tonight. 5,000 fired primers.
Slightly used.
Oh.
Now we'll see what kind of crap storm we start tonight.
That's right. So, as for me, I road tripped to Iowa on Saturday. That's right. I went to Idiots Out Wandering Around Land.
Gun Con.
That's right.
If gas wasn't $5, Mike, I would have probably came. And not have a truck that is a gas guzzler. So,
dude, I drove my truck down there and back.
Well, you're only, what is it, 2.5 for you?
It was about 4 hours and 15 minutes straight drive.
Really? One way? I thought it was closer than that, but
no.
250 miles, something like that.
Yeah. So what's your excuse now, Slacker?
I had to work on Sunday, so.
So did I. Next excuse. Anyway, so the two good things about going to Iowa is I went to Gun Con and met up with Jonathan, one of the guys actually the gentleman that set up Discord for us and has been doing some other fun stuff for us. His new job, they had a bunch of stuff that's been sitting in the back rooms that would have been sent to him for testing and other things. And, well, he handed me off a little bit of it. So he blessed me with some 300 blackout brass, which is out in the garage. And then I've got some nickel-plated 40 Smith that I got to pull down and redo because they're all seated too deep. And then there's a bunch of this. Some of it's like this. Let me fix that camera problem. So some of it's like this, where it was clearly absolutely designed for testing and testing only.
It's blank brass, Mike. For training purposes only.
And then there is some of it that's like this, but neither of them have primers or flash holes. So what I'm going to do on this style here, I'm going to pull them, save the bullets, use the powder as fertilizer, because there's powder in there. And then on this one, the ones that aren't damaged, I'm going to pull them, use Brian Nixon's lovely tool that he's got for turning Berdan primed brass into Boxer primed brass to make my flash holes. Put a primer in it, put the powder back in it, put the bullet back in it, and away we go. So
When you do that, make sure you fire from a bench with a string attached to the trigger the first time.
Yep.
Because that brass might not be the proper strength.
So I've got a little bit of everything else here too. So
It looks good.
This is some of the stuff that's come out of the bucket. Not this. This I got from Brownells because I couldn't see paying the shipping. So I figured since I was going down there, I got it. So I can get my gas block on my 300 blackout. So I've got a 30-06 draw. So what this is they started making the case but didn't finish it. So they got it basically to the outside specs because that's all they're doing is just this was used for machine setup and testing. Is all this stuff was. So so that's what it is.
Mike, you know you can neck that down right down to 30-06.
Yeah, but
after you put a flash hole in.
Yeah, but the head's not right.
No? What is it, rim case or semi-rimmed?
It's a full rim.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're right.
But just some of the fun stuff that I found in here. Here's a 270. Paper hole double aught buck. Some projectiles. Some 5.56. I'm guessing this is 5.45 by 39. I can't tell because I can't really read the head stamp.
Hold it up to the camera again, Mike. I know when you were showing it earlier, it was kind of fuzzy. Yeah, it's 5.45. That's 7 and 6.
Okay. So
which that's stuff's actually banned coming into the U.S. So that's something that's at least 10 years old.
Yeah. Thanks, Trump. Dick. 300 blackout. This is 4.6 by 30. 357, 38, 45, 49, and 380. So, and then this is that projectile in that case. So, just fun of this. Oh, and a couple of 7 rem mags. And I hate my camera tonight. Okay, there. That's a little better. So, the other thing I found while I was in Iowa, besides Jonathan and all the fun stuff at GunCon, is this.
Oh,
hard to do. That's hard to find.
Right now, there's only 3 states that have it: Florida, Tennessee, and Iowa. So you're darn right. I picked up a 12-pack while I was down there.
Good and cold.
Oh yeah, it's cold.
Nice. Let's hear how it tastes.
So this is the regular stuff. The one I got's a sample pack. It has the Baja Blast flavor, which was pretty good. That was Sunday night after mowing. And then it's got the regular Mountain Dew. It's got watermelon and black cherry. Oh, that's good.
You're disgusting. You are freaking disgusting. You can't put it through the screen.
Oh. Guess I'm gonna be making a couple of road trips across the border.
That's how I am with Yingling, Mike. I have to go to other states to get it.
Why? What is so special about Yingling? I don't get it. I've had Yingling. It's not that good.
It's good beer.
For what we get in Illinois, Yingling's one of the better ones. We have to go and get out of state.
I don't know. No.
At least downstate, maybe.
Shit, Liney's is better than Yingling.
Yeah.
There's an easy fix that, Nick. Put your stuff in a truck, move, sell your house, and move to a free state like Indiana.
I want to, but until I get a job that has the benefits that mine has, I ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
I have some of the best benefits in the country with my job. So
Excuse me. Oof. So yeah. So that was some of the fun that I had while I was down there. GunCon was cool. Good grief. Who are all the vendors that were there? HK was there. Yes, that's right. HK was there. Jorgen, that's funny. I'm in Wisconsin. We have more microbreweries than everybody but the Pacific Northwest. And it's pretty close because they have to use Oregon and Washington combined to compete with Wisconsin. So anyway, HK was there. Arrow was there. High Point was there. LMT was there. Yankee Hill was there. I know I'm forgetting some people. I'll have to look it up.
It wasn't anything like SHOT, was it? I mean,
No, it
size.
was more like NRA. No, it was inside Brownells.
Okay.
So, there was, I don't know, 15 booths, but everybody was giving stuff away. Jonathan continued the lucky trend of people who hang out with me at these things, and he won a High Point 9mm carbine. I didn't win squat. So, but the amount of 300 brass that he gave me more than makes up for it. So he gave me a 30 or a 50 full of 300 blackout brass. So, ooh, that sucks, Andy. So Andy79Z28 said, so to those following my 300 blackout adventure, I was having all kinds of feeding issues. The load data in the book had the wrong OAL for the bullet he's using. So yeah, that'd make a nightmare. That would definitely cause some feeding issues. So DWD37 dropped the low-hanging fruit when it comes to beers that Nick should travel across state lines to get, which is, of course, anything from New Glarus Brewing Company. But I didn't want to give the low-hanging fruit because it is such an easy thing to do. So, anyway.
You frickin' rummies.
Well, at least it's, at least he's not addicted to Shinerbach.
What the hell is Shinerbach?
You've never been to Texas, have you?
Shiner's okay. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
If it's all they got at a bar or something, I'll drink it. Like my buddy's wedding, that's all they had for free beer. I'm like, just give it to me.
Well, if it's free beer, I'll drink Budweiser. So.
Oh, it was either Shinerbach or it was some other one, and I'm like, give me the Shiner. I think I drank like 12 of them, but if it's free, I ain't complaining.
Nope.
No. Sorry, guys. No. I spent 6 months in Germany. Okay, I know what real beer tastes like, and all the piss water that's being distributed in the United States. No.
Oh, that's the nice thing about Wisconsin is there actually is some good beer up here.
Yeah. Well, I got spoiled. So
you went to the wrong site. You went the wrong way on your traveling of I-90. So, but yeah, I mean, once you've been over there,
yeah,
that is an amazing stout.
I drank when I was over there in '87. I drank beer called Carlsberg with a K out, dark beer. Oh my God! And I couldn't find it again.
That stuff's amazing. They used to import it.
Yeah, but the import was the closest I ever came.
No, literally, it was literally from the brewery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not.
Oh my God, it was good.
Not like brewed here or brewed somewhere else. It was literally imported from. Because we had my mom had friends that were over in Germany, and so he brought some back when he came back, and then they found some at one of the little liquor stores, and the German part of Milwaukee, and it was the same. So, but yeah, I've had one can of that, and it's
Yes.
But see, I've gotten to the point where I don't like a hoppy beer now.
Yep. I don't blame
So
you. Hops are better.
Yeah, well,
a lot of the German stuff is hoppy.
Yeah, I just remember going to Grafenwehr and going to the monastery and picking up 15 or 20 cases of their beer and putting it into a back of a Jeep trailer and taking that back to the that was Grafenwehr Flippies from the monastery were they did not have a cap on them like you guys think. They had a flip up cap with
like
a rubber,
like Grolsch does.
right? And yes,
Grolsch is pretty good.
That beer would sit down and just relax with it.
Oh,
Dark.
the fact that you said it was from a German monastery,
yeah.
Has anybody ever heard of the highest alcohol beer you can get in the U.S.?
What's
content? It's Samuel Adams Utopia. 32% alcohol. It's the bottle's incredible. It's a sipper.
You said 32, 3
30
as in 2?
3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3.2, not like 3.2. Not like
32.
Virginia beer. Yeah, not like Virginia beer.
Yeah.
Actual
10%.
32%.
No, I've never had it.
Wow.
Then I sit down and if I want to enjoy myself, I an 18-year-old bottle of single malt Scotch, unless I'm slumming and I got to have the peat, and then we'll go to a 10-year-old. But no. Anyhow, on to reloading today. Or are we going to talk beer?
I mean, we could talk beer, but I don't think there's some listeners that would like
beer and cigars.
That's right.
There we go.
So, all right. So I already mentioned one of the common mistakes that's made. Does anybody remember what it was? When I was describing a box of ammo that Jonathan gave me that I have to pull.
Yeah, it's Fort Smith West. It's seated too deep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was too short.
Yep. So what causes that?
Someone else had. Didn't we have Andy there that was talking about his overall length was incorrect?
Yep. So there's another one.
Too long and too short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Too long, too short.
How do you get it too short?
Seating all too damn deep. Incorrect adjustment of not watching what you're doing when you're going to set up and have your seating plunger drive it in too far.
That's what I was looking for.
Well, there's also the people that sit down and the bullet shape that is called for, it may be a round nose, and they're shooting a flat point, okay, and have the die adjusted for a round nose, and when that flat point gets in there, all of a sudden it's wrong.
Yep.
There's
they forget to back off the seating plunger.
Right, and matching the ogive to the bullet to the bullet length is the important part there, and so you may have to do a little experimenting with some bullet comparators to get a good ogive to length to see where you're supposed to be, but that's probably the number one biggest concern is getting your bullet, your overall length right for feeding issues and other issues. Oh boy, too long. You imagine what happens in a rifle when it's too long and you got a short throat.
Oops.
Oops is right. You sit down and pull the bolt back on that, and all that powder dumps into your gun. Oh,
or worse.
Yeah.
Or worse.
You stuck a bullet in the chamber.
What else can happen with that?
You get a blow up too.
Yeah, because you
get high
shove the
pressure.
bullet back into the case too far.
Yeah.
Because it seats the bullet deeper for you.
Yep.
So I just kind of on seating issues. We got 4 right here. So these are literally all 40 Smith & Wesson. Okay.
Yeah.
That one and that one are the same. That one are not the same. But look at the difference. And I purposely did this so you can see the height difference.
Mike, do you have a LED flashlight there handy so you get a little bit better video? I'm going to magnify. I'm going to bring your screen up, okay?
Okay. So what you're looking at is number 1 and stop it. I hate my camera.
There we go.
That's better. Okay, so number 1 and number 3 are the same projectile exactly.
Yeah.
Number 2 is a hollow point. Number 4 is a hollow point. I've never seen that style of hollow point before on number 4, but they're literally all 4 40 Smith & Wessons.
If you pick up number 4 and look at it, I'd almost bet it's a Remington.
Your camera is pulsing, trying to find something to focus on.
Yeah.
This is RW.
Okay.
RWS. So it's not a Remington. Anyway.
Perfect.
So
if you look where the ogive is on 1 and 3, and you see where the ogive is on 2, you notice that it's a little short of the case, but close. But number 4 is definitely way too deep, which could cause pressure problems and feeding issues.
Yep. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of show that off while we were talking about that. Good thing that it focused, damn it. Okay. So, and then we've got too long, which we talked about. So if you got it too long, you can have all sorts of problems. You got it too short, you can have all sorts of problems for it. So that's 2. What's another?
Improperly seated primers.
Okay.
Short charges, double charges.
I don't know if that's common.
Oh, one guy we know, Mike and I both know from Jason. I'll just leave it at Jason, not Jason Trumbull, another Jason. He first time he reloaded, he wound up double charging in one case.
Well, yeah. He never said it was him, but somebody in that group. Oh, so Liberty Civil Defense lead-free hollow points made by RWS is what Reloader 762 said that one is. So those are those lightweight ones that go really fast.
Okay.
Anyway, so that probably is seated correctly for the bullet. I don't know. I'll have to check because that would be factory ammo. Anyway, yep, overcharge. How about undercharge? Can undercharge be bad?
Squibs.
Yep.
Oh yeah, squibs. Yeah. How about missing the powder altogether?
I've done that. I'll admit it.
Guilty.
Yeah.
I still have 340 Smith & Wesson rounds I have to pull because of that. I haven't needed to shoot them, so they're sitting in a ammo can out in the garage for the I don't know, Jim. What's that been? 4 or 5 years at least.
Since when? Since you moved into the house?
No, since I had that squib.
Oh hell, I don't know.
Yeah, it was a long time.
I have enough trouble keeping track of my mistakes. Shut up, Paul. Whatever it is.
No,
shut up.
I gotta. It used to be with the Bianchi Cup when you'd go there to compete.
Yeah.
And their list of items to bring included a short cleaning rod to clear any squibs.
Yeah.
So yeah, they happen.
Yep.
Mike at RWS Ammo. Just double check against the rest of the box. Make sure the OLs are the same.
He doesn't have a box. It's a single.
Yeah, it's a single.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was the whole box.
Anyway, I was going to show what Spudman76 just said, seating a primer backwards. I actually have a Winchester white box factory round somewhere that was out of the box seated backwards.
I've had that too.
That's why we hand load.
Mm-hmm. So not seating the primer deep enough, seating it backwards.
Yep.
What else? Just with the primer.
Not deburring the crimp off the military or GI brass enough, and you wind up getting a primer caught on the edge. It winds up trying to see it at about 30-degree angle.
You can crush a primer.
Sure, I've done it.
Okay. Using too much force to seat a primer.
Crackle pop.
Yeah, Norma Brass is notorious for having a hard time seating primers.
I got one trying to decap or deprime a military or Berdan primer.
Uh-huh.
If range pickup stuff, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
There's another one that's sort of not really our fault, but I've been noticing some GI brass has got a very tiny flash hole. It actually grabs onto the decapping pin, and it'll pull the damn decapping pin out.
That's using Lapua brass.
Yeah, Lapua brass.
Lapua brass has got a small flash hole.
Undersized flash hole.
Yeah. And they're noted for that. So yeah, if you buy Forester dies, they come with a two sizes of depriming pins, one large and one small for Lapua brass.
So DWD37 said we hand load them so we can smash them in sideways correctly, nice and flat. Who's ever seated a primer sideways?
I think I have.
I did get it out without it going off, though.
And progressively, I have set off about 70, 75 primers.
Ooh.
It makes a nice hole in the ceiling. Looks like a shotgun pattern. And
Paul doesn't talk about the fact that he had to go to the washer to clean himself up. And I don't blame him.
You sit down and you start feeling for problems because you can't hear, and it's impossible to hear anything. So never muscle a press.
No.
If it doesn't,
especially when priming.
And you have to understand the 1050s and the thousands and the RL 1000. They all seat on the downstroke. Okay, so everything happens at the same time. and it goes off.
Running with Scissors has got a comment. Is Jim enjoying himself an Old Crow sandwich as his Old Crow bourbon? What's in the cup, Jim? Ha. Sorry to disappoint y'all, but this is straight iced tea. I got drunk on the air one time, and I'll never do it again. Mike, look at Mike's shit-eating grin too. Brian Nixon was on with us, and boy, I talked like I talked about three lines of shit.
You got tore up.
I did.
It wasn't for those who are we like shooting fans. It wasn't 171, but it was pretty good. So
it was rum, that's for sure. Thanks for running with Scissors. Appreciate it, but nope, I don't get drunk on the air again.
So, all right. So I wanted to go back to one Yogren posted a little earlier. Now that we've covered primers. So a common issue I have is my powder trickler will dribble a granule or two onto my powder pan while the pan is off, and slowly offset my scale a granule at a time during loading sessions.
They make a 1-inch paintbrush, and a can of air are nice to have with when you're going through that stuff. Or an air compressor with a small air hose. But yeah, how many watch their electronic scales drift? They're getting better. I got to tell you that, because the old days, electronic scales were awful, but they're getting better. And yeah. How about those who clean their brass in a tumbling media like corn cob or walnut hull, or something like that, and they don't inspect their flash holes afterwards?
That's the exact reason why I tumble my brass with the primers in.
Okay.
So that when the decapping pin pushes out the primer, I know the flash hole is clear.
And then you take the lube out. How? Lube off how?
What lube?
Oh, well, if you're reloading a rifle round.
Oh, that. Okay. I just wipe it off when I'm done. Okay. I use straight lanolin for some of the machine gun brass I resize.
Yeah.
Need to. I've stuck it with non-imperial sizing wax. I never tried that, but I stuck it with the Lee White lube. That stuff is never mind. It's inadequate. Let me say it that way.
Anytime you're doing military 308 cases, they're all, unless you're using imperial sizing wax, lanolin is the only way to go.
Yep.
I used to have 4 of those Timler Tiny Tim tumblers, the ones like
tumbler.
Yeah, and I just take a rag and put some lanolin on it, throw it in there, put 50 or 100 cases in there, tumble it for an hour, take it out, do the same thing again. Of course, it was feeding a Dillon RL1000, so you could do that if you needed 3 or 4 to do that.
Jorgen's got a good one for cleaning the lube off.
Yeah.
Use an old rag and a squirt of alcohol. Probably not too liberal, but I would imagine squirts onto the rag.
Yeah, if you use denatured alcohol, you can you clean a lot of cases pretty quickly that way.
Yep.
So I'm one to throw my resized cases in a tumbler to get the lube off. So yeah, I'm guilty of it.
You tumble live ammo? Oh
no,
my God forbid.
my resized cases.
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah, resize cases. I've just got done running them and resizing them, and now I'm going to say I want the lube off of them so they don't, so I don't have to deal with it after they're loaded.
Follow up to Jorgen's comment about the denatured alcohol in the rag. He lays it down on the bench, throws 10 pieces on top, folds the rag over the brass, and roll it back and forth 3 times. That way, doing production style. Not bad, not bad.
The other way to do it, if you're doing a lot of brass at one time, is soak a dish towel size in the denatured alcohol. Put 50 cases, 223 cases in there. Roll up the ends, shake it back and forth a little bit. It'll come right off. After a while, as the denatured alcohol comes off of it, that you'll have to take and throw that in your wife's wash machine. She'll appreciate it. Another how about sizing your cases, guys? We've just touched on lube, but sizing your cases. Who uses Hornady One Shot?
Oh.
Okay.
Mike uses it carefully. I think you're muted, Mike.
Not currently. I didn't say anything. I just raised my hand.
Yeah. So
I use One Shot. I use One Shot all the time.
People have a tendency to use One Shot too fast.
Correct.
They sit down and spray the cases with it, and then they go right to sizing them. And next thing they know is,
oops, it's stuck.
It's stuck. So you have to have one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, let me tell you my little experience with getting cases stuck. Remember, I was cursing at Lee White Lube a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
One night, I was trying to work up some machine gun brass. 7 cases got stuck on using the Lee White Lube. 7 cases in one evening. Fortunately, I have my own stuck case extraction kit and all that I put together. But after that evening, I walked away from the bench, locked everything up, went down to the house. I was in the bar in Pennsylvania. Went down to the house and I ordered a bottle of lanolin, and I never have used that white lube again. Now, for the sake of the honesty, now openness, if you're resizing 30-06 commercial brass, it probably works well, or 223, something small and easy, it would probably work well. But when you put fired machine gun brass, fired in an M60 machine gun or whatever, wherever the weapon it was fired in, guys, use some serious lube, like Paul said, Imperial Sizing Wax or straight lanolin from sheep's wool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bought pharmaceutical grade.
Jim, when you break a 7.62 by 51 die, let me know. Yeah. Okay.
God, Paul, don't wish such horrible fates on me.
I actually split an RCBS die.
Oops.
Yeah. What were you doing with it? I was resizing military brass. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that requires a lot of force.
Yes. So
I got to interrupt this podcast. Guys, you got to see what my wife just made. Pineapple coconut frosted cake. Oh my God.
And
I'm going to have to mute my camera and mute my microphone to eat that stuff.
You're not sending any to us?
What the hell?
Yeah.
No, Mike wanted. I'm going to follow Mike's example with that hard Mountain Dew. He's going to drink it all for his own ass. Oh, she's going to bring the whole cake in. Shut up, Mike. I know where your mind just went. And I hope she don't put it in my face. We go from reload. Oh, here we go, guys. Hold on. Oh, yeah, there she's.
That's Jim's share.
That's all Jim gets.
Look at this.
He's here.
Now take it and push it
No,
into his
shut
face.
up, Paul. Shut up.
Remember when you got married? What you did
Thanks,
with it,
honey.
right?
Thanks, honey. Back to a regularly scheduled program, huh?
That's right.
Yes.
Back to the normal level of insanity.
Okay, so that media in the flash hole.
Yep.
Not inspecting cases prior to reloading them.
Yep.
That's another things that people do without thinking.
Right.
Not looking for case splits, neck splits.
Yep.
You know those little dents that you get when you use a hair too much lube that's right at the bottom of the shoulder, maybe even up in the shoulder, between the body and the neck?
Yep.
Those lube dents. If you use imperial sizing wax properly, you'll never see one of those. I've seen it with lanolin.
Yeah.
So,
Nick, how about something with black powder that people have problems with?
Like for instance, like Martini or Snyder, if you don't get that compressed all the way, you can run into issues.
Okay.
Fortunate if I've not had that yet. So that's about the extent of black powder I shoot. And another thing, if you don't get your powder and ball rammed all the way, you're not going to get good ignition.
Okay.
using the on a flintlock, using the wrong powder in the flash pan.
Yeah. Yo, you got a real big problem there.
Yep.
Guys, I'm not a black powder shooter at all, but I'd like to have a little bit of elaboration on that particular issue. What do we use? Coarse powder in the flash pan, or what?
Really
I'm playing devil's advocate. I know you don't, but
Right.
I want more details.
So
Really-
the easy way to think about it is 1F is for the bigger the gun, 4F is for the pistol. More than likely, 4F is mainly just for your flash pan.
Yeah.
That's what mainly everybody uses 4F for, is your flash. 2 you can use in rifles. You're starting to get into pistols. 3 is mainly pistols.
Yep.
And of course, you got 2.5, but 2 and 3 is where the difference truly is.
So for regular, like say I'm shooting 30 caliber or 30 even 40 caliber round ball, what would I use?
It depends at that point.
Well, even mini ball, 50
it's
caliber.
Typically F, sometimes 2F.
2F.
Yeah. If you shoot like a Kentucky 36 cal long rifle,
2F.
2F with a 4. If you're doing if it's flintlock, of course, 4F for your flash pan. But if you're shooting out of like a flintlock musket, 3F.
I just had oh God, don't forget the name of the word.
Brain fart?
Yeah, so I'm having one of those. So basically, when you buy black powder, you got to buy 2 kinds, 2 grades.
Not necessarily.
No, correct.
If you have a flintlock musket or a flintlock rifle, yes. But most of us don't. Most of us either have a percussion cap or a 209 primer.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us that shoot 209s don't even buy loose powder. Buy pellets.
Yeah.
Much easier. You don't have to worry about your powder granule. You just worry about your grain weight. There you go.
I must have spent too many years in Pennsylvania because I mean, doesn't Pennsylvania have a primitive season where you have to use flintlock?
No.
I don't know.
They have I think they have a primitive season, but the primitive season says that it has to be a muzzle loader.
So we could use an inline.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Use an inline with pellets and.
I'll check into that,
09
okay?
primers.
Because I know somebody who uses. My son Troy uses black pot up there. I'll check into that and get confirmation.
That's something Dad and I've been talking about doing for a video is make our own black powder.
That'd be fun.
Because you can do it. You can make it, make the pucks out of yourself, and then all it is you use different size sieves to make the granular sizes. So
Yeah. The old day, when you used to be able to go to the old fertilizer store and buy your Prilled 3200 and 5 gallons of diesel fuel. Yeah.
We don't talk that kind of talk on this show. I've done it.
Anyway. So, Jorgen said, I always thought the number of Fs indicated the scale of how effed up you were if you mixed it with another grade of powder. That too. Yeah, I don't know if Ken just thought that Pennsylvania has a flintlock season too. I don't know. I'll have to look.
Thanks, Ken. I'll check with Troy on that. Because he uses black powder for a muzzle loader for part of the season.
I'll be in Pennsylvania next week, so I can always swing at a gun store and ask.
There you go. You'll have the answer before I will, I'm sure. Take a note, Nick. Take a note.
I can do that. Because actually, we're going to Gettysburg on Sunday,
So Pennsylvania does actually have a special flintlock season. Ooh, that's a whole month long. They have a muzzleloader weekend or a muzzleloader season, and then they have a actual flintlock season for whitetail.
That was the primitive season I was talking about. Okay.
I'd imagine they probably allow matchlocks too, but I don't know who's going to go hunting deer with matchlocks.
God, you're talking about Stone Age, back in the Flintstones or whatever.
Well,
that's why I'm interested. We just got a bill signed here in Illinois to allow rifle hunting to a certain degree, and I'm trying to read up on it because I would love to do my Snyder.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Because it's supposedly it's either a single shot or 3-shot, straight wall or bottleneck above 30 cal. So,
kind of like Indiana had and still has.
From what I've read, it's similar to Indiana's.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to read much on it yet, and so.
Nick, you hit that whitetail with that Martini Henry. Trust me, he'll fall over. You hit him in the hoof, and he'll probably fall over.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm hoping to use the Snyder. So.
God.
I'd say
Instant field dressing.
Oh yeah. It'd be the bullet would be this big.
Yeesh.
My God. You
I'm
can
just
throw
thinking,
that
hey.
and knock him down. That's not fair, Nick. Let's talk about advantage. Overkill.
I'm just thinking about it right now. I'm like,
What is it? 600 grain?
Hey, looky here.
I don't know.
Black
I have
powder
to go weigh
channel.
this.
We got somebody from a Black Powder channel.
Howdy, Black Powder channel. We were just talking about black powder. So,
Well, I know my Martini bolt's a 475 grain. I think this is a little bit bigger, if I'm not mistaken.
Can you get that in a double rifle now?
Oh, not Snyder, no. I don't want to do that in a double rifle.
Oh, you don't want your ass kicked for the next week from recoil? Come on, Nick.
No, I've
Big
shot
guy
enough
like
of
you?
those. I've shot enough of that stuff. I've shot single shot 10 gauges.
Oh God!
Like somebody I knew had one that he cut it down to 18.25 inches and put like 3.5-inch 10 gauge
Oh my God!
goose loads in it, and no.
That's enough to give you a concussion.
Oh, it was bad.
I
It
took
was bad.
The worst I've done is I took my grandpa's side-by-side Stevens and pulled both triggers at the same time with 2 3/4 turkey loads in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun.
No, I can see Nick out there, stalking the Illinois whitetail with his side by Snyder. That would, yeah.
That's why I always love. Like, if I can, hopefully, if Dad gets property in Missouri, maybe get the Martini Henry out there, or just something, do some fun stuff. It's a rifle. It's like kind of a little bit of fun.
So, running with scissors once in a while, we're talking about bottleneck restrictions. He said, educate the Southern folk for those that don't know. Why the bottleneck restrictions?
I don't know. Truly, we don't know.
Chicken shit.
Chicken shit. Distance.
No, it's not chicken manure.
It's
Political
distance.
crap is what that
It's
is.
distance.
Let me read the bill. It's confusing.
So the whole entire idea behind it, because we used to have similar restrictions in Wisconsin, and thank God somebody in the DNR got smart. The theoretical premise is that a 30-06 projectile will travel infinitely farther when shot at the same angle as a 12 gauge slug. So therefore, a 12 gauge slug is safer. But anybody who knows science, if you shoot both projectiles at the same angle, they will hit the ground and essentially, give or take for wind direction and powder charge, essentially the same area. So it's based on bullshit and poppycock because people didn't know any better. So, but the idea is that a 12 gauge slug is a safer projectile to use in the event of overshooting.
So here's the way the bill is written. For purposes, the legal handguns, rifles are limited to centerfire handguns that are either single shot or revolver, and centerfire rifles that are single shot. The only legal ammunition for the centerfire handgun or rifle is a bottleneck centerfire cartridge of 30 cal or larger, with a case length not exceeding 1 2/5 inch. I'm like, how is that? What even would that be? 300 blackout?
No, it would be 357 Harriet.
What's that length again?
1 2/5 inch.
So you can't even use a BFR.
That's like 1.40 inches.
Yeah.
What the hell kind of caliber is that?
It's like, what are we going to use?
It's
For bottleneck.
it's 357 Harriet.
Okay.
And then they say for straight wall is 30 cal or larger. Both of which must be factory loads with a published ballistic tables or manufacturer showing a capacity of at least 500 foot-pounds of energy out of the muzzle. The barrel of the handgun shall be no less than 4 inch. So it just gets stupid.
So what they're doing is they're allowing your 357 Magnum, your bigger and larger, your 357 Maximum, okay, your 357 Harriet, and your larger handgun cartridges. They're allowing that to be put into a rifle. That's all.
I'll stick with my bow hunting.
There's gunsmiths in Indiana that have been doing this for years, that have been taking a 30-06 case or a 308 case, cutting it down and having a reamer built so you're at the distance and then putting it at a 357 bullet in there, and you can have a repeater that way, and still have a lot more cartridge capacity than you'd have with the what is that, the 35 whatever they came out with, Wonder cartridge.
The 350 Legend.
Right, 350 Legend. That's your straight walled case. Okay.
What's the case length on that though?
Doesn't matter. They said it's factory loaded. has to be over. And,
right. I
and
noticed that too. It's like that's telling me that I can't use my hand loads. Said factory loaded ammunition, didn't
Yes,
it?
there goes my Snyder.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
ain't getting I ain't getting factory ammo for that.
well, I'm just saying if they
Yeah.
make a factory load for it, you can
Yeah.
still hand load. I mean, as long as it looks right. Um, but we've gone, Indiana still has it in public hunting lands to have that short case, uh, bigger than 30 caliber restrictions. Illinois now has it, and you go one state more in Missouri, and you can shoot with whatever you want. You go up to Wisconsin, you shoot with whatever you want. Iowa is kind of funny because Iowa is shotgun and muzzle loader, and that's it, if I remember right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because this doesn't take effect till the first of the year, so there'll probably be more things that gets worked out with this thing. And yeah, there we go, Jorgen. I think it's another $20 for FFL that does ammo. So hey, why the hell not?
Yeah. What goes up? The Arabs. A lot of the Arabs have found out that does come down. The Pakistanis are really good at that during weddings. Yeah. That there are about, if I remember correctly from my reading, about 300 or 400 people that die every year in Pakistan from celebratory gunfire.
You're muted, Mike.
Oops. So.
Yeah, that was in reference to Jorgen's comment about shooting 223. He's pretty sure he goes into space, so
yeah,
the
so
bullet going into space be the safest cartridge ever. Never falls back down. That's what he thought.
That's like I'm shocked. Like we have a muzzleloader season. I'm shocked they haven't kind of worked with that to make it like either a vintage, like antique, single shot, kind of like these Snyder, the Martini. That's something that could easily do because it's the same bullet basically a lot of times.
Politics and money, Nick.
Oh, I agree. It is. It's politics, everything, and
Yep, it's all political.
we'll see. Well, polls are closed now for our primary, so we'll see who gets what. So
that's true.
It's either going to go one way or the other. We know that.
Jorgen Reagan, you behave yourself, damn you.
Okay. Other common mistakes in reloading.
Wrong bullet.
Different bullet. Could be same weight, but different bullet.
270 diameter, 277 diameter versus 308. Whoops. Neither one will work correctly.
Yeah, but I mean, if you take a let's say 165 grain spire point and 165 grain bowtail hollow point, their ogives and everything else are all going to be different. It's all going to line up, different, and you're trying to follow some load recipe to seat the bullet to, without knowing, how to seat the bullet. Could be problems. How about incorrectly adjusting your dies, guys? Huh?
Well, we kind of covered that.
Yeah.
We kind of covered that in seating length, but
Yeah.
not really.
But I mean, even in sizing your cases and applying flare to your how much bullet flare you're putting on there, and boy, I mean, there's a lot to go on just in those items.
Over crimping.
Oh yeah, especially if you're shooting like berry bullets, and those copper washed ones.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there you go.
In the chat, they're talking about powder. Wrong powder. Mixing powders.
Oh, you mean when like my wife came in, hit my reloading room the other day and took all my quarter cans and eighth cans and
Put them
put
together.
them all into one? Yeah,
There's the Jason Trumbo situation, which Michael Dunn's really asking
Good one, Michael Dunn.
about. Putting a 270 and a 30-06. Or the more common is trying to shoot a 300 blackout out of a 5.56.
Well, I had a friend. I had a friend of mine that put 41 magnums into a 44 magnum. Okay, so that was, and he was wondering why he was getting split cases.
Yeah.
Box had 44 magnum on it.
I've seen that with 9s in 40s before.
Yeah. So yes, wrong powder. Yeah.
Hey, Jason, we were talking about you earlier, bud. Jason Bauer, welcome back, buddy.
Elk Blood said to add on the wrong powder used. I like to use painter's tape in my powder measures and dispensers with what powder is in it is marked. That's always a good idea because unless you're one of those people that regularly and absolutely takes your powder as soon as you're done and dumps it back into the container it's supposed to be in. No, so you could be like me where I've got I don't even remember what that was. It's the one we used the other day for the 223. I've got the jar sitting here though, so that's how I know what it is. But that is unique because that's 40. So I know that. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to be leaving powder sit, which you really shouldn't in the first place, because then powder is hygroscopic. So Paul Loud reminded us it's 2230. That's in my 550 right now. So, but that's why the painter's tape would be good, because then I don't have to remember it, even though I've got and say I'm going to do something and I move the powder out of the way and forget that I moved it out of the way or forget where I put it. So. What on earth is that?
This is a Harold powder measure.
That is wicked. I love it. I love it. I love it. Made for a plastic bottle.
And they have an adapter for Hodgdon and IMR.
The only problem I see with that is the bottle is opaque. You cannot tell when you're nearly out of powder.
Oh yeah, I know.
Tap
but
tap.
You got a whole pound on there to start with. Okay.
Well, Paul, I'll tell you something. A pound of powder goes a long way in handgun cartridges. You know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is it's one way of doing it that people to keep your powder charged, and with the Dillon, you can just take and put the bottle right on top of it and run a piece of duct tape around. That way the bottle is there.
I suppose. What other common powder issues?
I did one time. I left some unique in the bottom of my Uniflow. Didn't
Mhm.
realize it. And I poured rifle powder on top of it. And I was loading my 308.
Not good.
I could tell the first round went off. I heard the gas coming out of that thing as I shot it. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's not the type of duplex powder you want to use.
No.
So
No, not when I'm using something like 4895 and unique.
no.
No. Duplex charge, that's for sure. And well, you guys want to take a name it? I don't care. 40 short and weak. I'm willing to take and see how effective it is.
See, it doesn't work because I call it 40 short and weak, and I love shooting it. So
You bet.
anyway, Jorgen said that he likes to take and he says, I measure seating depth to the lands by inserting a bullet into the bore. Once I forgot to remove the bullet from the bore before going to the range. Luckily, the loaded cartridge wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's called a bore obstruction.
Powder issue. Spudman76 said is finding it in the stores. Yep. That's starting to get a little better. We've actually had some powder in stock at Cabela's for like almost a week now. It's weird. Including some Rotumbo. Yeah. Paul Loud leaving powder in the measure and disculling the dispenser. Yep.
That takes a while. That's flat negligence.
Yeah, and Elk Blood with his
Right.
double charges because the pressures don't double; they're exponential. So, yeah, that goes with rifle cartridges too.
Yep.
And God help you if you put pistol powder in a rifle cartridge that isn't meant for.
No.
You know.
No, it does not end well.
Yeah.
I got lucky when I mixed my unique with.
Well, at least it was unique. I mean, that way you knew what it was.
Yeah.
Well, they just say I had some ammo to pull down.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, people, we all make mistakes. That's
All
why
of us
Mike and I
have.
got together. Yep, that's why Mike and Paul and I have gotten together to create this show so that the people can learn from our mistakes, and we learn from your mistakes too. Good one, Michael Dunn. I've done exactly what Paul Stallone was talking about. Fun mistake is charging a case without a primer in it. I've actually charged a few cases with powder in it. Like, oh boy.
Well, what's fun is when you charge a case with a ball powder, real fine ball powder,
Rebel.
and you just charged it, and you're watching, you're watching the powder come out of the cases. You're going, oh, and yeah, But what's
that
worse
would be that word we don't talk about too much, that F-bomb word.
Yeah.
Nice thing is when I did it, it was extruded, so I didn't lose any.
Oh, okay. That's even worse because you don't notice it until you either put it in the box or you're gonna, shoot it. Yeah.
So see, I hand primed it all anyway, so it was just a matter of. It was one of those where I was sitting there doing something while I was hand priming, and then that eternal interruption happened. The one you can't ignore. Well, you can for a certain amount of time, but then they start to get whiny and louder.
Your wife?
Yeah.
Michael.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, So then you get that, and you got to stop, and you forgot where you were when you come back.
That's why
missed priming 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why Nick is slightly single still. As soon as he figures out how to dump candy.
Hey, Nick,
Yeah,
Oh boy.
what cruise line were you guys on?
Norwegian.
Guess what?
Oh, I
One of the
saw.
Norwegian's boat did today.
I saw that. My mom told me that last night. I'm like, there's no way.
Yep, it smoked. A Norwegian cruise line smoked an iceberg today.
Oh, was
Up
anybody
by
hurt?
Alaska.
Was anybody hurt?
I didn't see it with.
As far as we know, nothing yet. So
Yeah, I clicked on it, but it was a clickbait link, but it was actually something that happened, but I never bothered to go back.
So it's even crazier. So we went to Astoria the day before the cruise.
Yeah.
And went to that little microbrew restaurant. The brewery next to it, its roof collapsed. It's
wow.
like, if you know our family, if you want to go somewhere, go before we go, because we destroy it some way or another after we go.
Yeah, but Vegas was safe.
Well, yeah, Vegas. What's going to happen in Vegas besides a building collapse?
Candy found you. That's where Candy came. Ray did it. Ray accused you of having a girlfriend named Candy. You know your dad fried your cookies. We're just making sure the cookies never quit frying.
Yeah. Paul Loud's followed up with a fun mistake. He says, then rotate the tool head so it spreads nicely underneath the shell plate. Yep.
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Done that.
Yeah.
Jorgen, I think the biggest mistake of all reloading is to not keep a proper log of all your reloading data.
That would include the mistakes, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
He's saying that is the mistake, is not keeping a log.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But the log that you made a mistake of not keeping that's a mistake of itself. I'm saying I think you should keep record of the mistakes that you make.
Oh, that's what he's doing, though. I mean, but you're also making a mistake by not having a log,
right?
By not writing down what you're doing, and your data,
and not doing it in a manner where you can make sure it stays
right.
Because, like, I lost that .338, that .38 5-shot group 308 load. I lost the data on that, so I don't remember how many pounds, or I don't remember what the powder charge was on it. So, Thomas Peterson says, I had a shelf of shame at the old house. I need to start a new one. Yeah, I've got a loading block of shame around here somewhere. So, but Michael Dunn, Brownells was awesome. We actually got to tour the warehouse. I put up a few pictures. So it was fun. Got to tour the warehouse. They've got some really neat bronze there that I put some pictures up. So Oder bringing up a comment that I kind of glazed over a little bit earlier about most common mistake about. He says, I'll try again, you slackers. LOL. Think the most common mistake among us newbies out there is that we think speed solves everything. True, not true? Yeah, absolutely. Try and get done as fast as possible.
Or even trying to load hot rounds.
Mm-hmm. Because you don't want to do load research.
Right.
Guy I used to work with, he wanted me to reload some 30-06 for him. He says, hey, Jim, how about loading up some hot rounds for me, some 30-06? I says, bring your brass in. He never did. I wasn't going to load for him anyway. I was just going to keep the brass.
I know you guys probably all agree. I don't load it. Really, I don't load any ammo for anybody unless they're here doing it themselves.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Because I ain't taking the liability.
Nope.
How many of you guys have gone to the range and given a gun to somebody and had them shoot it? Come on. Okay. Yeah.
Just like literally hand it over?
Yes. Yeah. Here, you the guy looks at you and says, hey, can I try that? And you got your reloads in there.
Oh.
Yeah. You're going to do it.
If it's a tried true load, you've done it for years, absolutely.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. But here you are, you're out at the range, and it's still your hand load.
Yep.
Right?
Still your hand load.
Yeah,
So you go to a competition, okay, and you're not shooting it, but someone talks you into shooting it. They give you a gun, a holster, and their hand loads, and you go shoot it.
I see Paul's point.
Rethink yourself, guys. I mean, yeah, I'm not there to sell it, but if somebody needs a few rounds of ammunition, and I know it's safe, okay, not a problem. But don't if they want to learn to reload, I got no problem with that either. It's still my liability if I'm teaching somebody to reload. I don't care because it's not at their house doing it on their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So we all make that statement that no, we're not giving our any of our reloads to anybody or anything else. No, we're not selling them, but if it comes time to let somebody shoot something, I've had my nieces out and taking them shooting my girls, their husbands and boyfriends. Yeah, they shot my reloads.
Yep. We've all done it. And
Yeah.
mostly it's out of the spirit of generosity.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
But mistakes could happen. And if they do,
Yeah.
somebody's going to pay the price.
I know Mike's probably gotten this to work at the gun counter Cabela's. I get all the time. People are like, do you reload? I'm like, yeah, I reload. You want to reload for me? I'm like, I don't know you at all. I'm not going to take that chance just meeting you 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
Safest answer for you, Nick, is to say, hey, Nick, do you reload? No.
Yeah, most of the time, but most of the guys that know me anymore know I reload. So,
well, then say, come over to the house and I'll teach you to reload.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of all the friends that want to use my ammunition and everything else, asking them to come over to reload, very few. I've taught my one niece to reload. I've taught both my girls how to reload. But
yep.
And as far as reloading for speed,
speed does kill if you use too much of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless you know what you're doing, and you can read the pressure signs and everything else, stick to the book.
Yeah.
And even then, as Chris Sharp will tell you, sometimes the book is wrong.
Correct.
So,
one of our own hosts or guests, Andy 79Z28, was saying that he had data that was incorrect out of the reloading manual.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For some of the 30 caliber bullets he was reloading.
Yep. Yeah, I'll let sometimes I won't let anybody shoot a new load. But if it's a tried and true that I've got, a few hundred rounds, then yeah, I'll let them shoot it. So, yeah, I think probably one of the other, speaking of speed, is guessing at a charge weight and going from there.
I never rely on my memory for that. Never.
No, I'm saying, I'm not saying just pulling something out of thin air. I'm saying you look at your load book and say cartridge A is 43.7 grains to 48.2 grains is your min and max, and they just go, oh, well, I'll try 45.2, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
Or deliberately building overloads. That's
what they're saying is that they don't want to develop a load. They just want to. They're going to take a load that they think is close to what the velocity that they want and load that. And they're not going to see if they're as someone says that, you know, your chamber may be tighter or looser than mine, you know, and all that kind of stuff. They're just don't want to develop a load. They want to just pick something and run with it.
Just build a box of ammo and shoot it.
Yeah.
And if that, if the load is low enough, well, maybe it works. You know, but a lot of times they're sitting there going, you know, hey, you know, it's 45.2. Well, I'm going to load 45 grains. Okay. Well, is your scale the same as their scale? I don't know. I really don't. You can try to check it. You know, do you know how to correct your scale if it's not right? You know, if it's a balance beam, do you know where the screw rod is in the back of it, where you can adjust the scale to get it zeroed the right way?
I do.
Okay, a lot of people don't. If you got an electronic scale and you know you have do you have the correct zeroing weights and everything else for it? Are they accurate? I don't know. You know,
That's nice. That's nice. Thank you, Jorgen. Kudos to Jorgen Reagan for being kind to one of our friends from Iceland.
Yep.
We've gone through quite a few common mistakes.
Yeah, I think we've kind of covered the majority of them.
Yeah.
We have a attaboy. Thank you, Robert Ariema. Thank you, sir.
So, yeah, I think that kind of covers the probably, I guess the one thing would be the one thing we didn't say, which we kind of did but we didn't, is guesstimating load data. You know, they don't know what it is, and they just take something off the internet they find and don't verify it.
Oh, Ronald Reagan, you were so correct.
How's that?
Trust but verify.
Yep.
Yep.
So
go ahead.
I say we save that for next show.
Okay.
Because we could do a show on that too. And we
Uncommon
can go down the
mistakes.
rabbit hole a bit on those. So Jorgen just asked, what are some uncommon mistakes that our longtime reloaders have had and had to work through? So we're going to save that for next show.
Good comment, Jorgen. Appreciate it.
Yep. So, all right, gang. So, I want to take time to thank our sponsors, Primary Arms, Patriot Patch Company. Primary Arms.
What kind of shenanigans are they up to this week, Michael?
That's what I'm looking at.
Well, meanwhile, as he scratches his head and rubs his mic, and bounces it off his ear.
They have. Ooh, here's a point of contention. What holiday is coming up soon?
Independence Day.
Correct. It's not the 4th of July.
It occurs on the 4th day of July, but it is
So.
Independence Day, not
Yep.
4th of July.
So they've got an Independence Day sale right now going on. What I'm going to remind everybody is they got footwear. So that's something you don't really think about Primary Arms for, but they've got footwear and they've got some actually pretty good pricing on their stuff. So check it out. Especially if you're into, your duty boots and stuff like that. They've got quite a good selection of those for both men and women. So, but then they've got all sorts of other good stuff too. So, anything from firearms to detent springs and everything in between. So, lights and lasers, optics. Speaking of optics, if you're buying a Primary Arms optic, coupon code FRN, you get them out for free. And Patriot Patch Company. So, this is the June patch of the month. And usually the June patch of the month has something to do with Independence Day and fireworks and celebrations and stuff. Last year it was a drone. This year it's an RC truck. It's got a big missile underneath, Roman candle, bottle rockets, and your Saturn missile battery in the back. So, but yeah.
Okay.
Which
Paul.
one, Running with Scissors or Paul Loud's?
Paul Loud.
Because they're both funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah.
You guys are maniacs. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yep. So remember that it's Independence Day. And you don't hear a lot about it, but kind of remember back to Juneteenth for those who wondered what Juneteenth was. Juneteenth is June 19th, and that is when the Union soldiers finally got down into Texas after the Civil War on June 19th, 1865, and freed the rest of the slaves that hadn't been freed. So, so that is, a kind of a dual Independence Day, shall we say, Juneteenth is. Because let's be honest, when they signed the Declaration of Independence, it did not necessarily apply to everybody. So, but, we're not getting into that. But remember, it's Independence Day, not July 4th. So
July 4th is celebrated in England and Canada.
That's right. And them upstart.
Yeah. There's the upstart down there. I just heard it.
Yep. I think Mom just got home. So, either that or we just got to bark at random stupid shit. One of the two.
No babies walking by the front door?
No, that's the nice thing about living out in the country. Yeah. Limits that.
Ah, okay.
It's usually only those twisted people that are exercising.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyway. So swing over to patriotpatch.co. Check out what Jake and Ryan got going on over there. They've got more than just the patches. They got other stuff too.
They got quite a presence on MeWe.
Yeah, because MeWe doesn't ban people randomly for stupid stuff like face.
like someone else, another social media platform. We got basically.
Yes.
Now. Don't talk bad about them. I got $400 out of that company.
Nice.
Yeah, Paul. You know what you can do with that $400? You use Zuckerberg's face.
Heck no! I hope he bought I hope he bought reloading supplies with it.
I did.
Good.
I
Good.
did.
Good.
Well, really, I put it towards a barrel. So
Nice, even better.
Yeah.
So even better.
And Nick, you missed that one. You didn't get in on that one.
I know. I would have loved that.
Yeah.
That would have been another rifle.
Yeah.
So,
Will you hurry up and sign off? I won't finish my cake.
why do you think I'm delaying so badly?
Bitch.
Dang right. Take that, schmuck. All right, gang. Thanks to everybody who tunes in every week. Sends us feedback at reloadingpodcast@gmail.com.
Hold up. Oh, we got to hold up. I got to go over to the show, to the YouTube. Where the hell is it? There it is. And everybody got to make sure you click like. Whatever it is, click the like for us, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you to those who send us emails, reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us a text or leave us a voicemail, 608-467-0308. You can get a hold of us on social media. We're on the aforementioned Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on MeWe. We're on Discord. If you're looking to get to Discord, get a hold of us on one of the other platforms, and we'll get you an invitation. So,
Yeah, invitations are easy to procure.
Yep. We love Discord.
Just when you become a member of Discord, remember that you have to send pizza and beer to us, okay?
Oh, it's beer now? I thought it was scotch.
No, pizza and beer, on Tuesday.
Okay.
It's, I don't want them go broke on us.
No, this is true. Just not Domino's, all right?
Yeah, no.
So. All right, gang. That about covers it. So, if you have anything to complain about, you can also send us complaints. We need those too. So, once again, that's reloadingpodcast@gmail.com, 608-467-0308.
If it's a complaint, we blame it on Loud.
Yeah, it's Loud and Sharp's fault. So,
I don't know. I thought Jason and Travis would be on that one.
Oh, that's true. It's all Trumbo's fault. He's not here.
Yeah.
And if it's really bad, then we blame the Canuckian.
Yeah.
He hadn't been here for a couple of years.
No, I don't even know if Trevor's actually on Facebook anymore. So, but if you're running into the Fur Latte, tell him hey. So, and remind him that he is the coolest Canadian because he once open carried in Utah.
God.
Anyway. On that note, gang, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Mill Syrup short bus.
Despite what your mama told you, Grandpa said violence does solve problems. And before you go, Jim, just wait a second. And Sharinda would go teach a lady how to reload.
So she can pinch off your stash.
Right. And just so you know, she missed today's meeting because she was at her, her AA class, meeting that she was at?
AWA.
Oh, AWA. I thought it was her AA class. I was going to ask her what.
I think AWA stands for Alcoholics with Attitudes, but
she gonna kick your ass.
I told her in the chat. I said, "Oh, it's pick on Sharonda night then."
Yeah, and we'll find out what step she's on next week. So
y'all gonna get your asses kicked.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I don't care.
And Jim hasn't gone yet, and with Jim, I got to tell you, Jim, we've all been putting our out here for the Second Amendment causes, and last week we had a very, very good outcome on one of the cases.
Yes, we did
in the Supreme Court that was written extremely well.
Yep,
extremely well.
And now we all got to be concerned because the Supreme Court has expanded the gun rights.
Yep. And the amazing thing on that, California actually issued a memo the next day stating that everybody needs to do shall issue, not may issue.
And
Nice.
New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey. I
Nice.
didn't hear anything about New Jersey. So
Yes, New Jersey did the same thing, and the sheriff, the sheriff said that they were have to go shall issue, and the governor of both New York, New Jersey, and California said that make sure that the people that they're of good character.
A taxpayer is
Show me in the Constitution where it says good character.
yeah, no, it doesn't. And
Yeah,
that was
it
one
just
of the points.
says
That was one
the
of the points of
people.
that ruling. So
Right. So
shall not be infringed.
I'm about halfway through the whole decision and everything. It's good reading, so you should familiarize yourself with it. So
With enough pressure, folks, this is exactly how you support the Second Amendment. With enough pressure from good folks of good character. Oh my God, that verbiage just come back to bite the governor in his ass. Folks of good
just remember,
character. Good.
remember, reach out to your elected representatives everywhere from your local town board all the way up to the person sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Make sure you do it in a nice and respectful manner.
Absolutely.
But
be professional.
Yeah.
Just so you know that the day after that they passed that they wrote their opinion, that they passed the red flag bill and everything else that is illegal.
Yep.
It was illegalized before they passed it.
Yeah, they didn't read. We had 100 senators that did not read, and we had 454 representatives that don't read, and we have a president that can't read. So
and remember, this is not a political show.
No.
Well, I'm just saying about reading.
Yeah, we're just talking about
did I say anything else?
Nope.
I didn't. I didn't say anything about.
We could split hairs all night. Are you done, Paul? Are you done?
Okay, I'm done.
Well done, Paul. I have to give you that.
That's funny. Jim just went robot.
Yep, he went robot. Okay, sir, it's all yours. Okay, I want
two-way all the way.
There we go. Okay.
What else, Jim? What else? Squeeze! Don't yank that trigger.
Oh, Loud's been around for a long damn time because I haven't used squeeze that trigger in a long, long time.
Right.
Thanks, Loud, you bum.
So
just for that, I'm going to highlight your crap.
So, on that vein, though, Paul, there was a couple of good things that were in that bill. It does not weigh the bad, but they are dedicating some more money to mental health issues and getting mental health. So that brings me to my next point, which is if you're struggling, 1-800-273-8255. Reach out, get some help. Reaching out to get help is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. So make sure you reach out if you're struggling. There's nothing wrong with making the call, even if you're not even if you're just slightly struggling, because they can get you in touch with people and services that can help no matter what your income level is or anything like that. So they're very, very good and very helpful with that. So there was a couple of organizations focusing on mental health and stuff that were at the GunCon too, and I'm going to work on getting a hold of them and maybe have them come on the show in the near future. So, but we'll get that planned for later. So, but yeah, definitely need if you need the help, reach out 1-800-273-8255. Thanks, folks.
Night, Joe.
Thank you. Night.
Good night.